Hi, I don't know if you've been paying attention to all of the crime that's going on in our country and the fact that President Donald Trump is trying to help cities in stopping it. This weekend alone in Chicago, they had 50 plus shootings and 7 people were killed. Yet and still, their governor has made this statement that they do not need any help from President Donald Trump in stopping it. Listen to him.
Over the weekend, we learned from the media that Donald Trump has been planning for quite a while now to deploy armed military personnel to the streets of Chicago. What President Trump is doing is unprecedented and unwarranted.
Now you have to ask yourself why. Why are these people, why have they dug their heels in to defend crime? What is it that they're doing? Something very sinister. And you really need to start looking at it. What is the sinister plot or plan behind them supporting crime? Anyone that supports crime has a very sinister plan going on, and you have to try to figure it out. But anyway, I want to thank CBS in Chicago for staying on top of the story and telling us the truth.
There has been a spike in holiday weekend violence here in Chicago. The numbers rising as conversations heat up about President Trump's possible deployment of the National Guard to the city. CBS News Chicago investigator Tara Molina is at Chicago Police Headquarters tonight.
We're tracking nearly double the shootings we tracked during this holiday weekend last year, and at a time Chicago is under a national spotlight. I asked Chicago police about that. Last Labor Day weekend, 26 people were shot in Chicago, 5 killed. This year, more than 50 people shot and 7 killed. At least 3 mass shootings reported. You're looking at the scene of a mass shooting in Chicago's Bronzeville neighborhood early this morning, where police tell us 5 people between 17 and 36 years old were hurt.
Any decent human being is going to look at anything that harms people and try to stop it. That's just basic human decency. It has nothing to do with political parties or race or anything else. Decent people do not want 50 plus people shot in a city. They don't want 7 people killed in a city over a weekend. That's decent people. So all of you people who are supporting these people who are supporting crime, it is something wrong with this. It's something wrong with these people. This is not normal, and we as a society must not accept it. What has happened is we have this billionaire cabal, and the billionaire cabal is doing things that are detrimental to mankind, not just in Chicago, but we're seeing it all over the world. And it's time for the world to step up and say, no, we reject you. We reject all of your sinister plots and plans for mankind, because you are not doing a good job of taking care of people. You're not out here trying to figure out what's the best way for us to feed people so that food prices are not astronomical, or what's the best way for us to protect people so that we don't have 5 people shot on or over 50 people shot over a holiday weekend. That is what decent people do. For all of the decent people, you need to be asking yourself, what is going on with these people, and why are Democrat mayors, Democrat governors pushing for crime? This is something that is extremely important. This is detrimental to our cities, our communities, and our country, and everybody needs to start looking at it and saying, what is going on in these cities? What is going on with these governors and these mayors? Anyway, let me know what you think about it.
I got kids, and I want to see the community better. I run every day out here. I exercise out here. So for the street to be safer, I think it's really good.
Governor Pritzker said the National Guard should never come in unless there is an emergency. This is an emergency. Anytime we're continuing to lose lives on the south sides and west sides of Chicago, to those of us who live in the community, we deem that as an emergency. It's been a war zone for years, and for them to try to make people believe that Chicago is a safe place and that you can live in these parts of the neighborhood where we live and be okay, that's an outright lie. I do believe that organizations like Project Hood, we've done a great job, and other organizations like Metropolitan Family Services have done a great job getting the violence down. But having the National Guard come in would be like a shot in the arm. It would help us tremendously. We don't believe that they could solve all the problems, but we believe they could stand on corners and help calm down a lot of the violence so that we can continue to provide solutions that would be ongoing.
So the new line that I keep hearing from Democrats, and I even saw it on the Sunday shows over the weekend, is that we don't need law enforcement. We just need these programs. Right? I'm not against community programs. Pastor Brooks has a phenomenal program that we have supported, that our audience is given to get program for these kids. But you need both. You need law enforcement there. You can't send social workers to deal with the gangsters.
Hello guys, welcome back to my social commentary. I hope you all are doing good and you are watching this video. Like we always say, we are not criticizing, neither are we supporting. All we are doing is publicizing. We are trying to make information go viral, and Chicago is really on the edge right now. Chicago, the state of Chicago is really on the edge after a violent Labor Day attack that left 8 shot and 58 shot and 8 killed. While we were celebrating the Labor Day, a serious violence broke out in the state of Chicago, and the residents of Chicago are seriously calling on our president Donald Trump for help. They are calling on our president for help and saying that they don't just need Trump's troops, they need a lasting solution that will stop the bloodshed and killings in the state of Chicago. So if today is your first time of coming across our video, do well to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and tell us what you think about the video in the comment section so that more videos like this will pop up your screen. You're welcome.
Do you think that the National Guard involvement is necessary to get crime under control, or can it be handled at that local level?
I think it's being handled at the local level right now. But again, Laura, if we're 2,000 cops down, so if we want to send additional bodies, I'm sure I could figure out a way to deploy them. But the men and women of the police department, as well as the superintendent, they're doing a really good job right now. So I commend them on the job and the effort that they're putting into it.
Absolutely. And like you said, to have 2,000 officers down, to have that lack of resources, they are doing the best they can. But why not? Why not send in the Guard, as some would say, just to get things under control? Because these numbers are devastating.
Yeah, they are. The numbers are nowhere near what we would want it to be. But let's remember this, Laura. If the Guard does come here, they don't have any arrest powers. They wouldn't be conducting any criminal type investigations. So basically, you're utilizing them just as a show of force. And I think the best way to do that, especially in the beginning, I would deploy them like the CTA platforms and things of that nature. So it's a delicate situation. But again, if additional resources are heading our way, I think it's incumbent for the mayor and his administration to figure out how to properly and best use them instead of fighting back against it so much.
Liberals, black liberals in Chicago, if you think Pritzker and Johnson really care about you and your community, you have lost your ever-loving minds. We have seen week after week Chicago become somewhat of a shooting gallery. 14 individuals shot, a couple of elderly women shot. We just had a male, on a live, robbed and shot in broad daylight. And you're saying that crime is low in Chicago? Stop the gaslighting. We are tired of it. If this doesn't show you in Chicago that your mayor and your governor don't give a damn about you, I don't know what will. You've been voting blue no matter who for many years, one shitty mayor after the next, and crime continues to rise. The police departments are shackled and cannot do anything. You need federal reinforcements. You need it. The communities in which you live deserve it. They deserve a fighting chance, because right now they ain't got
President Trump to send the right resources. But as far as sending a National Guard, I believe that it will put us in a situation where the whole city of Chicago will be right back where we started. I lost 9 family members to gun violence. Only one of my family members made it to be in his 40s.
Cedric Hawkins is now 44. He works with the anti-gun violence group Chicago Cred, trying to make peace before things turn violent, sometimes between gangs.
Is just trying to be able to obtain a non-aggression agreement. That don't mean that I don't still feel like that you deserve to die. That just means that right now we have a respect level, and the respect is, I don't like you, you don't like me, I ain't gonna come in your hood, you don't come in my hood.
And that is good enough.
And that's good enough.
And in his Southside Chicago neighborhood, he takes pride in even that compromise, because it means results.
Last year we had 4 individuals murdered in the Pullman area at this time.
Yeah.
This year, 2025, we haven't had 1 individual murdered this year.
President Trump has threatened to want to send in the National Guard. You feel like even just like the presence of military here?
Presence of military will put our communities in a situation where they feel like they are incarcerated. We are already in a situation in Chicago where the trust with CPD, law enforcement, is very, very low. He's gonna do nothing but put our communities in Chicago in a situation where the trust is gonna go lower than it already is.
It might throw off the playbook that it sounds like
is working.
The fact of the matter is, it really doesn't matter about what Brandon Johnson says. It doesn't matter about his politics. What matters is the people. And the people here in Chicago don't feel safe. The people here in Chicago want the help that President Trump is trying to send here. So regardless of what the mayor says, we want the help.
Ramping up after Labor Day.
Operations are ramping up across the country, but you're going to see a ramp up of operations in New York. You're going to see a ramp up of operations continue in LA. And, you know, Portland, Seattle. I mean, all these sanctuary cities that refuse to work with ICE.
Okay, so that's the border czar, Tom Homan. As he mentioned, ICE could soon ramp up enforcement in Portland, Oregon, but not before the riots hit the streets of that Dem-led city overnight. This is how it went.
All we do is our
So the violence against federal agents already erupting in the sanctuary city, and officers issuing an order for everyone to leave that area. In addition, the far-left activists set up a guillotine in front of an ICE facility. And for good measure, they burned an American flag. Acting ICE Director Todd Lyons with me now, and sir, good morning to you. The question was whether or not Portland and Seattle and Chicago are going to get the treatment soon, whether or not they have to concede. But just looking at this order from a judge in California blocking the National Guard from going into California, can you beat that, sir?
You know, Bill, I tell you what the biggest problem is just what you showed, right? They're not trying to stop our operations. They're just out having lawlessness. So I think going forward, we're going to have to work with all our federal partners and all local law enforcement to stop these crazy radical left protesters, because there's no place for this in our society. And on top of that, it takes local law enforcement resources away from the people who actually need it to deal with these crazy activists. It's unreal.
Okay, so what about the miners and that flight that was prevented from going to Guatemala? Can that be revisited?
Yeah, that can be revisited. Unfortunately, I can't really discuss that because we already are in legal talks right now with the Department of Justice working on our options. But I would just say that, kind of like the one person that Spot hit before, you know, these children have parents in another country, and it's our job to go ahead and reunify them. And on top of that, it was one of President Trump's main priorities with this immigration enforcement pickup, was identifying and finding more than 300,000 unaccompanied children that came to the United States. So we're still going to keep that mission going. We're still going to attempt to locate these children, many of which we found in slave labor type situations, sex trafficking. So that's still our #1 priority, is the protection of these children.
Wow, okay, quite the story there. Let's move to Kristi Noem's appearance on CBS. We're going to play a clip.
Okay, guys, thank you for watching our video. We really appreciate it. But on a serious note, this shooting is increasing in the state of Chicago, and it is becoming too much. Yes, it is becoming too much, and yet the mayor and the governor are saying that they don't need Trump's help. They are saying that they don't need Trump's help. They are okay and can manage what is happening, the rate of bloodshed, the rate of killings that are going on in the state of Chicago. Yes, the last time Trump talked about coming to help Chicago, Governor J.B. Pritzker said that Trump is trying to force a military intervention in a state that doesn't need it, whereas people are dying on a daily basis because of massive killings and massive shots by young teenagers carrying good guns, good rifles, good guns, young teenagers shooting, young teenagers killing people because of what is happening in the state. So without wasting more time, thank you for watching our video. We really appreciate. If today is your first time of coming across our video, do well to subscribe to our channel and tell us what you think about the video, so that more video like this will pop up your screen and people will know what is happening around in the country we are in. You're welcome.